Let's grow this thing. Let's grow. You guys are listening to Nothing But the Bash. Let's get this thing going one way or another. Preview time, game time. Put your game face on. What's up, nation? What's up, everybody? What's going on with you, man?
What up?
Who all we got over here? DDP, where you at, man?
Yo, what's up? Here in the office, same as usual.
Yes, indeed, man. So,
I think it's like by nature I have to come across as extra square.
No, man, you cool, man. You cool. Let's get this thing going, man. Big game, James, man. I heard you getting a little wiser, man. I heard you getting a little stronger, man. I heard you getting a little bit better over there. Is it your birthday?
Just a little while.
It's your birthday week?
Just my birthday week. Happy birthday to myself. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. That happened on Monday, and everybody don't need to know my age. Just need to know I'm almost 50, and I look damn good for almost being 50. I look damn good for almost being 50 one more time, and hella wisdom, and just trying to keep on growing in knowledge.
Yes, indeed, man. Always.
Sure.
Always getting that extra knowledge here, but that's what's it, man. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Hell yeah.
Happy birthday to you. If I know how to sing, you know what I'm saying? If I sound like Luther, I'll sing a few songs for you, man. But, you know, it is what it is, man.
I appreciate it in spirit. I appreciate it in spirit. You know what I mean? But it was a good birthday weekend. I was beating them Jags, frauds. You know, just excited to get this Washington game on because that's where, to me, this is where the real season starts. Another big NFC game, NFC East game. A game is, it seems like every game we play has been a must-win game, seems like. But this will be huge because if you look around the whole NFC as a whole, there's no runaway teams except really the Rams. But still, there's still a lot of competitive teams. We're all the way in it right now.
Yes, indeed. So we in it to win it. DDP, man, what you got over there, man? Are we live on your channel?
Let me look. Should be live on the channel here. Yeah, we live. We got let's see, guitar slinging zombie killer. That's a awesome name. He's already got a score prediction too, man. He came ready.
Oh wow.
And we got Gleh in the house, so that's got to be notification squad if someone beat Gleh. Gleh's always the first one in the house.
That's what I'm talking about. Gleh in that thing, man. And are you on your YouTube or what have you? What about you, James? You on your YouTube and on your Facebook? I'm not on your YouTube, but your Facebook, I meant to say.
I'm getting on there now. Give me a chance. Are we on the Silver and Blue Nation or are we on Big Game, James?
Man, we on everything.
We on everything. Oh, well, then let me jump on here because usually I'm on Silver and Blue, but I'm going to jump on Big Game, James. Whoever's in here, jump in, say what's up. I just playing out here. Yep. But if you're jumping in here, say what's up. We just, like I said, we ready to talk about these Redskins, man.
Score predictions. Put those down. Everything y'all can think of.
Yeah, that's all coming up for real.
I'm talking about the people that's in the chat box. You know what I'm talking about, fam, right?
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, this will be an interesting game. Anytime it's division, you can almost throw out record. I mean, even last year, in the second half of the season, when we had to finally face off with Philadelphia, even when we were in the midst of our free fall, we still hung tight with them through the first half. I mean, that was what was it at half again? It was like 7-6 or something to that effect at half, first half of the Philly game in Dallas last year. So, I mean, if it's within the division, all bets are off as far as how close the game's going to be. But I'm really curious to see how Dallas comes out in this game because I'm not afraid at all of the passing attack for the Redskins. Not just their receivers are kind of like ours in the sense that there's no one there. I mean, Crowder's probably their best receiver, just like Cole Beasley's probably our best receiver right now. So it's ironic in both those being like the slot guy effectively. But if you can just kind of keep that in check, and with Alex Smith as the quarterback, that should be fairly easy to do. I don't think he's going to give you a lot of opportunities for turnovers, but just keep it in front of you. It's not like you've had a lot of interceptions this year. The team has 2 on the season. But if you can just keep that ahead of you and contain 36 or whatever year old Adrian Peterson, then should be able to get a good advantage there. So this will be good.
No doubt, man. James, what you thinking about, man? I don't know, but I hope we didn't lose your big game. Yeah,
I think we might have. Okay. Let's see. So, additionally, regarding this matchup here, um, so the Redskins are the third overall seed in the NFC right now,
Right.
technically due to tiebreakers and the fact that they had a bye week, they have fewer losses. So that's why they're leading the NFC right now, NFC East, I should say, despite the fact that do they have a division win yet? I don't think they do. Who do they face that they would have beaten in the division?
Nah, they don't. They don't have the division
Yeah,
win. The only team that got the division win will be the Filthy
Philly beat the Giants.
Giants. Yeah, and we do.
Yeah,
And
and
we
then
beat
we
the
beat the
Giants. So
Giants.
the Giants is whooping ball right now. Shout out to the
Yeah,
Giants, man.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. The Giants, they've got weapons for sure, but they have no offensive line, and right now they have no damn quarterback either. And so, when you don't have either of those things, you're out of luck. I mean, at least say what you want. Even when we've been bad and we've shown bad this year, we've at least had the offensive line for the most part to give
Yeah.
us some hope and allow us to do some of the things. Although, really, on the road, that hasn't been the case. That Dallas has been Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde all season. At home, they've played much better. They're 3-0 at home, 0-3 on the road, and it's not even yeah, like I said, opposites. It's complete extreme differences. Although I would say in the two first home wins, you started hot in both of those games, rattling off 10 quick points, and then the offense kind of cratered again for a little bit before regaining momentum. They win those games. Really, the Jacksonville game is the first complete game I think we've seen from the offense all year. So if they can
Yes.
just do even a microcosm of that on the road, they'll be much better off for it.
Yes, indeed. The last time we played, like I said, last time we played that good was I think last year against the
Kansas City.
Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah,
Yep.
and we had a breakout performance from T. Will, who's suspended now, and who's also on IR. But I really think that the reason why we play so horrible on the road is because this team is really young. I really think that it's something about when you are a young team and you're on the road, you just don't have that confidence. And I think that this past game should build enough confidence inside of all of the younger players, and then moving towards this game here against the Redskins. I've heard that we pretty much I have a home field advantage there too.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. I do feel like the age answer is a little bit of a cop out for us because, well, I'm not trying to say that to argue with you. I'm just
No, you
saying,
good,
like,
you good.
you know, Zeke and Dak, both in their third years here. The offensive line still has Zach Martin. It still has Tyron Smith. I mean, there are veterans across this. Now, you could say we're having to plug in Looney, and obviously Connor Williams is the young guy. So there's some there, but on the road, you've had Tyron getting beat. You've had Zach Martin getting beat. Like, it's not just a factor of age. You can say that, on a more grand scale, not just our inability to run the ball on the road, that is the case, but the offense is built in a way where it should travel. I think the play calling on the road has been over conservative, whereas at home, they feel more comfortable to open it up a little bit, particularly early on. And two of those three road losses, I think it was the last two, in fact, it was Houston and it was Seattle. They opened the game with that like check down to, it's either a check down or screen. I can't remember off the top of my head, but a pass basically to Tavon Austin, and both times it opened the game for Dallas with a negative play. And obviously now, if he's going to be on IR, that's not going to be quite the same situation. But it's still one of those things where I think they're over conservative, and the Houston 4th-and-1 from the 42 is the perfect example of that, the perfect microcosm of that. So I think it's a mentality, honestly, and that does reverberate down from your coaching staff.
Yes, indeed. I feel exactly what you said off that. Somebody, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna have to shoot Big Game James a message. I hope he's okay. I'm still showing him with a link down in the description box. So, James, if you can hear me,
I think I'm seeing him in a hangout. I think the mic shot. It looks like he's working with the mic.
oh, okay, little Murphy Law there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Murphy Law, though. That's my third cousin, twice removed. But this is the thing. Like I said about the young team, about the young team approach, and you did mention the fact that, yeah, we do still have these veteran guys, and then Ezekiel Elliott going into his third year. Dak Prescott, he's showing some little promise from last game, but we still need to add those things together. We need to add in the fact that, yes, it was a good game, forcing and pushing the ball down the field. We saw a little bit against Detroit. We saw sprinkles of that, of him playing aggressive running style with the Giants. So I think this 3-4 defense that we are approaching against the Washington team is that we still have to challenge the opposition as far as the throwing the ball down the field. And then on top of that, maybe you don't run Ezekiel Elliott right into the through those Bama boys, because they are big, strong, burly guys up the middle. And I think they are ranked 5th against the run. So that's something that we would still have to say, hey, this is a team. We're on the road. You might not want to challenge them directly up the field like that, but you may want to attack the edges, and you may want to stretch the ball down the field to make them worry about the pass threat. So you can do that with the play action plays.
Yeah, absolutely. Zeke has 100-yard game on the road this season. That was at Seattle, where he averaged 7.9 a pop, 127 total yards. I think he had like 17 carries in that game. And at home, it was only week 2 against the Giants where he failed to get at least 100 yards. But it's just one of those things where for some reason it's not that offense has not traveled on the road. And that's where I was talking earlier about the conservative play calling. I think that supports more the mentality side, I think, where you look at it and you say, okay, you're leading with your offensive line. Your goal is to be, nasty up front and bully them. You got your dynamic running back. You want to be able to run the ball and do whatever you need to. And teams on the road have been able to keep them in check enough that Dallas, with its passing attack, I guess that's the side you can say they've been more conservative. And because they're not getting much leeway or much headway on the passing attack, that's allowing teams to keep the box stacked and to really just cause all kinds of problems for Dallas. That's why in Houston, Zeke had like 2.7 yards a carry or something.
Wow, 2.7 yards a carry. He's going to have to step it up regardless, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we look at so many other teams, and we are saying, I heard a lot of people saying, well, Dak Prescott, he can't win the game if we have to force him to throw the ball and this sort of thing.
I know that we didn't win that game, but it's not because of him. He got us tied up.
Right.
So, he's capable, but it's one of those things where I think the coaching staff and the play calling has kind of stunted his growth. You can even argue in many ways it's made him regress from 2016 a little bit. But, yeah, it's definitely not doing him any favors, and it's just something that you either have to unleash him and let him play to his strength, or you just have to cut ties with Dak. You can't play this halfway game and still get quality quarterback play.
Yeah, I want big games to step in so bad because I do want to hear his thoughts and opinion of Dak Prescott going into this game. Hopefully he can jump back in on this thing. But this is the thing. I'm going to ask you then, DDP.
Yes, sir.
Would you rather for them to say, hey, we can go ahead and build off the philosophy of being aggressive and implement maybe 5 to 6 plays of him running the ball opposed to passing the ball? Because maybe that's his strong suit. Sometimes we get so, narrow-minded on the fact that a quarterback can only win the game if they throw it with their arm. But what about his legs? Mississippi State Dak. How do you feel about that?
This game against the Jaguars proved that completely. I mean, what did we say his first 2 games? They went 1-1 in the first 2 games, but you had fans tearing him apart because he was only throwing for about 160 yards. Well, guess what? He threw for $180 against the Jags, but he also had 82 yards rushing, so 265 in total yards. That's a quality output for the day. And because he was running and, even beating him a little bit with the arm, at least when he needed to, particularly going to Cole Beasley, it kept the defense honest. And that's what you need. That's why Zeke had some success running the ball in that game. Yo, we got James back.
James, big game James. What's good, man? Where you been to? Went on vacation?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we got you, man.
Okay, good. Sorry.
But
I don't. Hey, Murphy's Law. I had to mess with it. I'm learning the computer game.
Third cousin twice removed.
he's our
man.
unofficial third or fourth host most shows. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening though.
Yeah, I
But
want to know your thoughts. I want to know your opinions. I want to know your passion. Give me everything you got about Dak Prescott heading into this game. What will make you flip out, whether it's good, bad, happy, or sad? Let me know, man. Talk to us.
I think will make me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
I think what make me flip out is if they just don't play with reckless abandon like they did the last game. I like it better when they just unleash him and just let him play. I mean, we all know what Dak Prescott is. I don't know if he's not ever going to be the Aaron Rodgers. We know that. We know that's not what he is. But we do know when he starts running that ball, when he starts doing those RPO, when he starts doing those play fakes, it changes the way we play, because now the defense has to back up off of us, because now he's a threat. He's a threat to either run or throw. And when you have that option, it makes it an easier game for Ezekiel Elliott. It makes it an easier game for Cole Beasley, which he should have been getting the ball to him already, because as I wrote in my article, after we lost all those top guys, Witten, Terrence Williams, Dez Bryant, he was our next guy to be our go-to guy anyway. So why hasn't he been fed the ball? If he were in any other offense, he'd be getting 70, 80 catches with any decent type of quarterback. And that's just the truth, because if you watch him when he runs his routes, he's damn near unguardable. Romo was saying it numerous times during the game, how valuable he is. So I just want them to be able to go in there. Don't be conservative. I understand that it's going to be hostile, but at the end of the day, I mean, we should go in there knowing we're the better team. I feel like we are the better team. I mean, yeah, they got a good defense. Yeah, okay, Adrian Peterson, but we got Ezekiel Elliott. You know what I mean? Adrian Peterson ain't what Ezekiel Elliott is right now. You know what I mean? Alex Smith, he don't really scare me. Yes, he can make plays, but you know what? He didn't beat us last year, and he's definitely not somebody I go into a matchup scared of.
yeah, look at the weapons they had last year too, when he actually did have a little bit of a knack for the deep ball. You had Tyreek Hill and you had guys like Travis Kelce. Like, it was a completely different receiving core than what he has right now in Washington. So yeah, I'm not scared of Alex Smith. I don't think he'll make many mistakes, but at the same time, you don't have to have a guy that makes a lot of mistakes in order to beat him. If he's not a threat to put points on the board or to at least move the offense down the field, then it's nothing to be overly worried about effectively. It's not like you're going against an Aaron Rodgers and it's like, oh God, we just got to try and stop him a couple times, you know?
I mean, if you looked at that game, in that Carolina game, I mean, Carolina turned the ball over a couple of times in their own territory. I mean, even when they came back, I mean, Cam Newton overthrew McCaffrey for a touchdown. That was a touchdown. If he threw it just a little bit shorter, that was a touchdown. He had his man beat, and it would have been 24 or 23. The dude makes the extra point. So that was a game they still could have won. So, and then the Redskins have already lost to the Colts. They're not a good team. You know what I'm saying? They got blown out by the Saints. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then also, I think the only thing that I would say I'm worried about their offense, yes, let's get at Adrian Peterson early, because you know how he starts rumbling. He gets in that little zone. But the guy I always say is a killer besides Santana Moss has been like Jordan Reed. He be killing us, man. And we got to contain him. They got Vernon Davis too, and we got to get after them. They're going to use those two tight end sets a lot. When I watch their games all this year, because I keep an eye on them, they use them tight ends like receivers. And Jordan Reed is going to be a problem. We're going to have to really focus on him, because he's always been a problem for us, especially if we get a lead on them. They always tend to go to him, and he always tends to bring them back. So we need to really lock him down. He's a guy that I want the Cowboys to hopefully really focus on and shut him down.
Yes,
yeah. When he's healthy, he's a huge problem for most anybody. But yeah, so who would check him in this case? Because we're not putting Byron on him like we did in the past.
Well, it's really going to depend. It's going to really depend on what kind of defense, because we're running that Deacon defense when we got the 6 backers and you got the 2 linebackers. I don't know if they're going to, Jalen. I don't know what Sean Lee's health is, because I know he's back in practice.
LVE.
Hopefully. Joe Thomas back in the fold, but LVE and Jalen Smith, who you will see probably out there looking at them, or possibly you're going to have a safety coming down there, maybe a Kayvon Frazier, sometimes a Jeff Heath, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't know, as far as it depends on how they flex him, because they move him around a lot of different places. I mean, he is very valuable in that offense. They set him up as a receiver. They put him inside. They put him outside. You can do anything with him because he's kind of got that herky-jerky type game, like that basketball type game. And once he gets the ball, he kind of just plays back. You know what I'm saying? If you watch him when he runs, kind of runs with it in one hand, he's a problem.
Yes, this is the other thing that we got to be mindful of. Is Bill Callahan still out there coaching the offensive line?
Yes, he is, and I miss him.
So I mean, he may know some wrinkles within Jason Garrett's systems and things like that. As far as I know, Jason Garrett's on the X's on the offensive side of the ball, so he may try to share some of this stuff. Although we've been beating the Redskins for a long time now, we got to be last 4 times. I think beyond that, I thought I heard a stat out there the last time that we lost to them was 2012 or something like that.
2014 they beat us.
2014. I mean, at their home, I meant to say.
Oh,
something
at
like
home,
that. Something like at their home last time we lost.
Like 12, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. But this is the other thing, the weaknesses. We can talk about the weaknesses of our particular defense. I think I heard a stat, and I can't remember the actual stat. Shout out to Incognito that's in the chat box. I know he's one of my statisticians. He'll be able to pull it up. I think we are like
looking up all kinds of kinky stuff.
Right. I think we're like Incognito. Yeah,
that's why it's called Incognito.
Incognito. But this is the thing. Shout out to you though, fam. This is the thing. I think that we're ranked 14th against the run.
I believe you're right.
Yeah. I think I saw that. I read upon that. So the only thing that if the Redskins, if they figure out a way to start running the ball with Adrian Peterson and then mixing this thing up together, because we do know that Alex Smith, he's not the guy that's going to give away gifts like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, we know for sure is like playing Eli. He's going to give you at least 1 or 2 passes to the opposition, right, to our cornerbacks. And I just think that Alex Smith, if he plays a perfect one of those sound games and they running the rock, then that can be our only reservation against this dead skin, foreskin, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see, but the biggest thing that's really helped us is getting David Irvin back. That was huge getting him back. Malik Collins, people, I mean, Malik Collins has been up and down, but he did have a sack last week as well, and he is a guy that can still push the middle. And then you got, I think the key for us is Irving, Woods, Malik Collins, all those, Tyrone Crawford, all those guys, even if they throw Taco in the middle a little bit, we need a lot of those guys to really hold that middle down, because that's where they really like to gash you. And Peterson, you don't really see him really getting outside a lot anymore. He's really going to get pound him inside. So we really got to shut that down. I think we contain him early and watch Alex Smith getting out of that pocket too, because he can scramble.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, he can. And that's another thing. Quarterbacks with the running the ball with their legs gashed us. What it was, Russell Wilson,
Deshaun Watson.
We had to go up against several. Yeah, we've had to go up against several, and even Bortles can run it a little bit. Not a lot, not in the way those guys can, but he runs more than people give him credit for, I think.
On the bright side, at least we're not playing against the brothers. That's what it was. It was the brothers.
Well, see, you know, the funny thing is, it's just the quarterback plays that we played against. I mean, Eli Manning on the downside, or Blake Bortles. Come on, I mean, we haven't really played.
Stafford,
yes, but Stafford should have. I mean, not saying should have, but Stafford almost beat us. That's the point.
Yeah,
it came down. We were there, DDP. We were there. You know what I'm saying? We saw it. You know, and it was Dak Prescott bringing us down with that beautiful throw to Ezekiel Elliott. But other than that, Matthew Stafford had beat us. You know what I'm saying? Matthew Stafford had beat us. So that was another quarterback who had beat us. So as good as our defense has been, we also have to understand that we've played some good quarterbacks and we lost those games.
Yeah. But one can argue the fact that Stafford, if Kayvon Frazier, and who else was the other guy who didn't play to the ball well, Jordan Lewis, and all those guys are fresh.
He played terrible that game.
Yeah, I think he was battling, through the injuries.
Well, he was battling. Well, he was getting ran over. I know that. He was
battling with the turf.
Yeah, he was missing tackles. I mean, like I said, The guys just got to come to play sound football. It was good football we played against Jacksonville, but as I said before, I really wasn't excited about the Jacksonville game. I mean, honestly, I was trying to get myself up for that game. I really couldn't because I felt like it was a game we should win. Blake Bortles, I keep stressing to people, and everybody should know he's not a good quarterback. Just watch him. He's not. Just watch him. He's just not a good quarterback. So
well, let me ask you this though:
What?
You have Alex Smith or Blake Bortles? Who's higher?
Hell, Alex Smith is way higher.
Okay. Who we play?
Way higher.
Okay, so let me see how I can put this in different perspectives. Then
I mean, really, look at Jacksonville last year. Okay, everybody is talking about what they. This is a whole new year. Everybody forget about what happened last year because it's a whole new ball game when you come into a new year. They had everything go perfect for them, much like the Cowboys when we had our kind of season. You had Leonard Fournette who came in as a rookie sensation. #1 rushing team in the league. When you're the #1 rushing team in the league, you're going to win some games, and that keeps the defense off the field. Is that not correct? When we had our winning formula in 2016 with Ezekiel Elliott, was one of the things we kept our defense off the field because of time of possession. When you win the time of possession game, it makes it easier for your defense because the offense has to stress and has to come back. So now you have more opportunistic. But when you don't have that running game with Leonard Fournette and your receivers and they did have injuries, one of their top tight ends went out of the game with an injury. Who is Blake Bortles throwing to, and who is he? You're not fearing what he can do as far as in the passing game. So you can tee off your linebackers, you can send blitzes, you can rush 5, 6, and come after him because you know he's not going to complete those passes. Then when you get 2, 3, 4, 3 and outs, your defense is stressed. Now we're running down the ball down your throat. We're gonna score those points. We're athletic enough team to be able to do that. But let's play a team that we're going into a hostile environment. Show that same offense that can carry that was at home can carry on the road and do that when it counts and matters. That's what I want the Cowboys to do, and that's what I want. Basically, the staff, everybody, step up. I'm tired of the up and down and the inconsistency.
Well, to that, we do know that defense travel. We heard about that for many of years, right? So
they travel, but they've also given up big plays on the road.
Right. I mean, we gave up big plays. I mean, at opportune times in Houston, Seattle, we let the game get away from us in Carolina. So, as I said before, the defenses play very good, but it has to step up and play better.
Well, let's look at this matchup then. We got Paul Richardson on the outside. They got Jamison Crowder, right? Is Dotson playing? Anybody know Josh Dotson?
I don't know if Dotson's playing.
Is he playing?
But we do have to watch out for Paul Richardson, though.
Do we consider Dotson noteworthy at this point?
He's a Texas kid. Texas kid. You know how it goes.
I just know I haven't seen him do much of anything anytime we've played him.
True that. He's always been injured. All right, but we do have to, like you said, worry about the tight end play and who's going to actually cover those guys. And then keep in mind, we got a guy on our team that wears number 30, who's known for giving up the big plays.
Yep.
And then you just got to figure out. I'm not worried about Byron Jones. I'm not worried about him. But
what about Cheeto?
Is he injured still? He's still battling that ankle.
He's battling the ankle.
He's still on the injury report.
But
I don't like that. I don't want to injure
They're saying it's both though. They're saying it's the ankle and the is he playing bad? I told y'all before that I told you who the best cover guy in my eyes was Jordan Lewis. Obviously, Byron Jones is playing lights out and covering people out of this world, but as I told you before, if you look at a lot of the patterns when Byron Jones is guarding people, those deep outs, those slant, I mean, that's what he's good at. It's when he gets, I told you can put your hand in his chest and kind of go off of him like kind of Byron Hopkins. Bernard. I'm sorry, I'm saying Bernard Hopkins. Hopkins was kind of doing to him. It was getting those catches, although he was playing kind of out of his mind. But if you see Cheeto, he plays good coverage, but he's never going to be a high INT guy.
No, he's not. And so you would rather for them to go with this lineup right here, keep Byron Jones on his side of the field side or what have you, and then move, Jordan Lewis to the boundary side and let him man up whoever's going to play out that side, and then kick number 30 to the inside. That's Anthony Brown into the inside and covering Crowder and those guys.
I mean, if you got Cheeto hurt, that's what it should be because Jordan Lewis is an outside corner. The problem, everybody was kind of down on him. A lot of people were down on him. I was frustrated because I knew I watched him at Michigan. That's one of my dudes. That's like my guy. And he was never like a slot type corner. He was an outside corner. That's what his specialty was. He's scrappy. Yes, he might get some pass interference because he's a little grabby, but he's always going to be in your hip. And this guy can get interceptions. Have you seen the 2 turnovers that we have gotten? They've been fumbles. Who have gotten the fumbles? Have been Jordan Lewis.
Jordan Lewis being around the ball. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that one against Jacksonville, man, that was so bang bang. Yeah. I wouldn't have been shocked if they had overturned it, but that was hellacious effort on that. I definitely want to give him props for that one. That was, what was it? Jalen forces the fumble off of Cole, and then he goes all out and makes that diving recovery. That was bang bang too, just between not just the sideline and everything, but it was like the play before you got the Jeff Heath pick. So the defense, they haven't forced that many turnovers this year, but in the Jacksonville game, that's one of the things that actually was more encouraging to me. Not that Dallas jumped out to a 24-point lead. Obviously that was nice, but the fact that they were able to get that lead without the defense doing a whole lot as far as giving them the ball inside the 10 or the 20 or whatever, like it shows the offense was just clicking. And that, I think that goes further to show that they are taking steps in the right direction, even if it's just from a chemistry and rhythm standpoint.
No doubt. Moving a little bit further with that, any shout out time you guys want to do a quick Q&A against with the people that's in the chat box, because I'm seeing you going back and forth. You can start off, DDP, if you want.
Let me just run through the list here. As I mentioned earlier, Guitar Slinging Zombie Killer. Always love that name. Gle, Electric Chicken, another great name. Stevie Mac 23. Let's see, we got a net in here. We got.
What about your connections over there, big game?
4 Dallas 90s Cowboys 21.
My connection is chilling today. I'm in my spot. A few people saying it, but not too many people I've seen. I mean, you guys go away. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gotta be all about me. I'll answer whatever vibing, whatever questions they talking about for real, because at the end of the day, like I said, this is Redskin week. Team needs to come hard. The team needs to go hard, and the team needs to make plays and step up.
Yeah, so what about this right here? Shout out to you, though, Big Game James, on that. Kivo says, we only got 2 interceptions for the season. How do we feel about that, basically? How do you feel about that, James?
I mean, we did need to have more interceptions. But I look at it as in we never really had guys that are out there that are going to be those guys. They had starting. I told everybody you had Cheeto out there as a starting cornerback and Byron Jones. If you look at them in their college careers all the way to now, they've never been those type of guys, and they're not going to be. The person that would only be, to me, that was going to get a lot of interceptions on this team would be Jeff Heath, which he does have one. Xavier Woods, I believe he has one, doesn't he?
Yeah, instinctive.
Yeah, he had the first one.
Woods has one, and then I believe Jordan Lewis would be the only other guy that would be the sticky guy. Anthony Brown is I think he'll get his on accident because they just came his way. He's more of that type of dude. But we just don't have those type of ball hawk type of guys that are really in the starting lineup to get a lot of interceptions. Kayvon Frazier, you haven't really seen him get a lot of interceptions. This is only his 3rd year. He's just now getting playing time. We saw he's blown a few coverages as we've seen. But like I said, the guys that we have in the lineup were never ball hawks, so we can't really expect a lot of INTs when they've never really been those type of dudes.
Yes, indeed. So Boomer Sooner says, what do you think, James, and I guess DDP here, the Bama boys of the Redskins in the inside? Is there something that we have to worry about? You know what I'm talking about when I say Bama boys.
Jonathan Allen. Go ahead, DDP.
It's going to make it a little bit tougher to run inside. I do like what they're building in the trenches there for Washington. The fact that it's just a pair of Alabama guys is kind of funny, but at the same time, if you're going to draw defensive recruits, particularly along the front 7, that's a great place to start. So it's going to make some adjustments for Dallas for sure. It's probably going to be a little bit tougher to run against them. I think one thing that helps with the matchup overall is that Washington, like I said, the receivers aren't that great, and they're a little bit banged up as well. They don't have, they had to sign Adrian because they lost Juice, who they drafted. And I think that it's something where Dallas has an advantage, but they're going to have to make some adjustments to deal with the fact that You have Allen, and what's the other guy's name? It's slipping my mind. I've been scrambling trying to think of it for the last 3 or 4 seconds.
Payne or something like that.
Deron Payne.
Yeah, I had him high on our board
Payne?
too. I had Deron Payne, like, hey, if he's there, we need to get him.
Yeah.
You know, I thought about if we can worry about the core. Fixing the core will help us out down the line, and it will help us out, especially with the help of D-Law getting to the edge and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is D-Law playing this week too?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, D-Law's playing. He's been limited. They gave him Wednesday off. They said they gave him a Romo Wednesday because of he's got that torn labrum or partially torn labrum. So I don't even know what that's about or how painful that is.
He's been playing with it for 2 years, he says.
Yeah.
I think this is year 2 of it.
That's pretty deep if that's been going on that long. You don't get no kind of surgery for that kind of stuff, man?
Here's the thing. I thought about that too. I think it has to do with the franchise tag, because if he's on a 1-year deal, he was trying to get a new long-term deal.
Yeah, he can't
with
afford
all of
to
his
do that.
injuries in the past, if he suddenly has to have another, I think he tried to just rehab it naturally without having to do surgery, and now it's biting us in the butt a little bit, where not only did he not get a new deal, but now he's just got to play through it, and it's kind of flaring up. They had to pop the shoulder back in, so if it pops out once or twice more, they're just going to have to, at that point, because it does damage every time it pops out. If it happens 1 or 2 more times, they're going to have to shut him down. So now it becomes potentially a ticking time bomb if you don't,
why that's dangerous for us. Let's talk real talk right now. You know why that's dangerous for us right now? It's because he's the only one that I'm seeing. I'm looking at tape and film. He's the only one that's exploding, getting out to the edge. The other guys got to do some type of twist stunts. They can't get the separation on their own. So if D-Law needs to get healthy, that's what I'm saying.
How do you get healthy?
You don't get healthy without surgery.
Right.
I'm saying, how do you get healthy on a torn labrum? I mean, you got a torn labrum that don't get healthy. You either going to either play or it's going to be shut down. So that's what we have to worry about. But here's the thing: we've been screaming. Well, I've been screaming. A lot of people, we've been talking about Taco Charlton having improvement. He only has 1 sack and it's 6 games. He has 1 sack in 6 games, and we've been talking about how he looked better. But the reason why you're talking about Law when you're talking about Lawrence is the hand play, the hand fighting, not just the explosiveness, the hand fighting. I mean, he is so tactically skilled with his hand fighting. I don't think Taco Charlton is there. And since Taco Charlton is not there and he doesn't have that explosive, he's not that dude. He's never going to be that explosive guy. He wasn't in college. He's just not that explosive guy. He's more of a guy that for real, you would maybe bulk him up and do him like a David Irvin.
You know what they started off last week? They started out with my guy D.A., Dorrance Armstrong. They didn't even have
Dorrance Armstrong is a better pass rusher than Taco Charlton.
That's what they came out with. They came out with Dorrance Armstrong and I believe Malik Collins and somebody else and D-Law. So
he's a better pass rusher.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely a better. That's why I said. So you seen how they did with David Irvin, right? When you had David Irvin, remember he was just playing almost not exclusively defensive end, but he was playing more defensive end than defensive tackle. But you saw that how much more he was effective at playing the tackle position, especially with his size. Taco Charlton's back. You saw how big he is. He's about almost 280. You can bulk him up some more, hopefully, and slide him at the 3 tech.
Is your guy Randy Gregory with that band? Is he more so just trying to shake off the rust? Because I've seen him getting home, but he's just not striking it.
So he got his first sack this season just against Jacksonville, and I was saying as soon as Irving came back and it freed things up even further for him. You mentioned how D-Law has been the only one really getting consistent pressure this season. David Irving came back and he blew a few plays up, obviously.
Yeah,
and that play. I think, yes, exactly. First third down at least. And he nearly got the punt the very next down as well. But that opened things up where you finally got your first Randy Gregory sack of the season. I think it was in the second half, but all the same, he finally gets home. I don't think it's a coincidence, that he had Law and Irving on the field with him. I think that, it's just it just supports what I was saying anyway in that regard, which is he's got ability, but he doesn't have, from a technical standpoint, enough or as far as the nuance to it, unless he's got those kind of guys that can also draw attention. He's a great wild card to throw in there.
Daniel Meza said, actually,
what up, Daniel?
Yeah, everybody said, "What's up, Daniel?" Shout out to you,
What's up,
man.
Daniel? Shout out, Daniel.
Oh,
He
I
came
hung out
up.
with Daniel at the Cowboys Experience event Saturday.
Yeah, touch
Daniel's
on.
super cool.
We're gonna touch on Cowboys experience too, but he was saying that basically D Law is helped by David Irvin. David Irvin helps elevate D Law in a sense. So
Dave
It's a
Irvin helps
symbiotic
everybody.
thing. Yeah, it's symbiotic. They help
I
each
mean,
other.
he helps everybody.
yes,
Yeah.
indeed. So speaking of Cowboys experience, guys, if you are out there in the Dallas area or if you from afar, there's the link in the description box. If you click on that, it will take you to a web page where you can actually purchase tickets to get to the game. I'm talking about a home game, have the experience to reach out and speak with pro NFL, former NFL players too that play for the Cowboys. It's a wonderful thing. Just click on the link that's in the description box and it'll take you right to the page and give you a whole tons of insights of the Cowboys experience.
Yes, sir. So the last worth mentioning, the last couple events. Let's see, who all do we have? Two home games ago, they had Bryce Butler, they had Chidobe Awuzie, Jeff Heath, and Drew Pearson. And then this past weekend, they had Bryce again, Pearson again, but they also had Cole Beasley and Michael Gallup this time. So they'll get
Drew's going to probably be at all of them, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. It looks like Drew will be out there all the time. And hey, we got him on the show too, so he's a good sport.
Yes, indeed. That's fantastic, man. So, hey, just click the link and we'll give you some some more information. So, moving a little bit further, what is the next order of topic that you got in mind, DDP?
Let's see. So we talked a little bit earlier about how Dallas has kind of struggled on the road. What do you guys think the key is early on in the game? To me, Dallas needs to start aggressive.
No. Defer.
Yeah, defer if they win the toss. Yes. Hey, 2 of their 3 wins they deferred. They're learning. Maybe.
Yeah. What
So,
you got?
yeah.
James? What you got?
I mean, to me, like I said before, we got Cole Beasley. He had 9 catches. We had 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. You saw how much the offense opened when you got him involved. There's not so many people can guard him. Get him the ball early and often. Yes, I wonder if the Redskins, they play a lot of zone, so they may try to bracket. But if they play zone, Cole Beasley can find spots in that zone. You can hit him. You get him in stride. You get him going. You get the offense moving. Once you start doing those type of things, then you can maybe hit somebody maybe on a Michael Gallup deep. Maybe you can hit a Deontay Thompson deep. If Bryce Butler is playing, we'll see what happens with him. Hearns. You see Jeff Swain has got involved in it. Get him involved. I think the biggest thing with us is just stay aggressive. It's not really hard. This isn't hard. They should make it hard. Go in there, be aggressive. Feel like you're the better team. Know you're the better team. Play like you're the better team. You'll win the game. This isn't hard. Jay Gruden is not a good coach. I don't care what anybody says. They ain't winning, never winning with no Jay Gruden. Okay, folks? The Redskins ain't never, ever winning with Jay Gruden. So I don't know why we worried about him because he ain't beat us. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Well, I mean, he has beat us, but you know what I mean? What?
It's been a long time.
Been a long time.
It's like
And even
when
that time
Garrett
they beat us.
Beats
go ahead.
people.
Yeah, I mean, what? We beat them with Matt Castle.
Yeah.
You feel me? And we had the 7-game losing streak. We went into their house and beat them. You feel me? And Matt Castle was playing terrible that whole time, and we still beat them. I think Darren McFadden had a freaking good game with them. Not worried about the Redskins. If Dallas Cowboys go in there and do what they're supposed to do, we're gonna win this game.
Yep. One thing worth mentioning on the Cole Beasley stat you threw out there. Kudos again to you for almost completely calling that 100% on the nail on the head and everything before the game. Cole Beasley became the first Cowboys receiver since November, I think 13th, 2016. I'm trying to remember the exact date. November 2013 at Pittsburgh to go for at least 100 yards and a touchdown. That was Des Bryant prior. And in the time between us finally doing it and Des last doing it, it had been done more than 117 times across the league. Because you think about it, it's not that crazy. 100 yards and a touchdown. 117 other guys basically did it around the league more than that before we did it again. Because I saw that stat pop up 3 weeks maybe before we finally actually got one on the board for that. Cole Beasley goes 101 and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, Beasley was the difference maker in that game. Because, again, Dak throws for 180. Bees had 101 of them. So as much as we like to say, hey, the offense finally got going. Well, we moved the ball.
Cole Beasley got going.
Yeah, exactly. We moved the ball. Dak had 265 total yards, but really one receiver got going. Gallup had a 27-yard catch. Rico had another catch, but outside of that, not a lot was really working for the passing game. Allen Hurns was trash in that game. He was like 0 for 6 on targets, and half the time he didn't even look like he was really looking for the ball. His best play was preventing the Jalen Ramsey interception at the pylon.
And one can argue on that play. Go ahead.
I want to throw something in. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead, fam.
We've been having all this stuff talk about, Demaryius Thomas, Amari Cooper. That's been the big subject. Amari Cooper right now.
That was what I was moving to next.
Some people were saying, Brian Broaddus, they were saying they don't know if he loves football, but I just feel like he don't love Gruden, and maybe that makes you not like football when you're playing under him. He wants to get rid of everybody. I didn't hear about that at Alabama, and I think, if they ain't going for that first round, he's 24 years old. Dallas needs to make a pull for a receiver, and especially for a young receiver. I guarantee he could probably have some life coming. I guarantee you Amari Cooper will have life coming to the Cowboys, because it's the Cowboys. It's Jerry Jones. You don't think he would actually have life coming to over here, and it would make the team that much better, because as much as we've been getting on Prescott, as much as I've been getting on Prescott lately, the receivers are not good. Besides,
thank you. Somebody finally said it, man.
Our receivers suck.
My God,
as much as we are getting on Dak Prescott for real, I've been getting on him. Our receivers suck, and the only one that you can throw to is Beasley. Everybody else is sometimey. You can't rely on them. They can't get open. Nobody's scared of them. And if you have any kind of good defensive backs, they're getting shut the hell down.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Let me break this down, because I've been looking at this thing. I've been going back and forth with one of my friends, man. He came to my job, and he was like, "Look, man, Law, this is where you wrong at." And then I had to remind him,
man, he's serious.
He's serious. He came to the job like, "Look, bro, let me tell you something, man. This is where you wrong at with these Cowboys." And I said, "Look, bro, if you look at it, let's talk about the top 3 offensive teams out there. Just name me any 3 top offensive team or any top 4 offensive team out there. Just give me a name.
Kansas City.
Saints.
You got Saints. Rams. All these teams, they have something in common. Of course, we can talk about the quarterback who can launch the ball down the field, but they don't have this right here. Deontay Thompson, undrafted. Allen Hurns, undrafted. Cole Beasley, I love him, undrafted. And then on top of that, we have a rookie 3rd-round draft pick who's out there doing what he can do, trying to learn on the fly, but he haven't even played with Dak Prescott during the preseason. And then we have all of the aficionados to say, well, wait a minute, Dak Prescott is not accurate enough to throw these guys the ball. I saw a play the other day. Juju Smith-Schuster, however you say this man's name, snatched the ball off the helmet. The ball was underthrown, right? But snatches the ball off the helmet and run it on in for the first down. And then I saw Kelvin Benjamin, whatever this guy's name, or Funches for the
Funches.
Funches is on the Panthers,
for the Panthers, snatches the ball away. Now, I'm not saying that these guys are just 100% trash, but what I'm saying is that this right here, they was undrafted for a reason. And then on top of that, if you think about Allen Hurns, think about this. Allen Hurns is an inside guy that's saying, oh, I can play outside too. But think about this. When he was with the Jaguars,
73% from the slot.
73% from the slot. And then on top of that, they had an Allen Robinson. They had another guy, number 11, big guy. I think his name is Marquise Lee or something like that. Big guy.
Lee,
Where's number 11? He was the second receiver, and they moved Allen Hurns to the inside. So Allen Hurns plays the same position as Cole Beasley played, basically. So what I'm saying is with this, if Jerry Jones can go out there, and I'm not saying that you need a number 1 receiver, but damn it, you at least need some tools. You need some tools out there.
You need to get some. If he's sitting there saying that he would love to have a number 1 receiver, but yet the trade line goes by, and we're wondering why, if they get to the playoffs, why Dak can't get up. I mean, are we really going to go to the playoffs with Deontay Thompson, Michael Gallup, Bryce Butler, Allen Hurns,
all of them
Cole Beasley,
undrafted?
I mean, Was Bryce Butler drafted?
I can look it up real quick.
Look it up, somebody.
Yeah, I mean Jeff Swain, he was a 6th rounder.
And I was going to get on the tight ends. I would get on the tight ends too.
Yeah, basketball.
Look,
and
seventh round is Butler. Seventh round.
That's undrafted.
Was undrafted too, wasn't he? Blake Jarwin was undrafted.
I believe so. Yes.
Jarwin, Blake. I mean, yeah. I
so
think he was
say all that again, Laud, to everybody again, because maybe that'll make people have it. Yes, Blake Jarwin.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
Rico Gathers, basketball. Jeff Swain, 6th round. Alan Hearns, undrafted. Cole Beasley, undrafted. Who else? Deontay Thompson, undrafted. Bryce Butler, 7th rounder.
Right.
Michael Gallup, 3rd rounder, but could have went lower.
This is the thing, though. So we have to look at it from a collective view of things. We just saw, and I know I'm gonna get all of that hate from this. We saw Atlanta Falcons go 10 years with a guy that's dominant, right? Julio Jones and Sanu and the other guy out there that they just went and drafted this kid that can fly up the field. It takes time. It just takes time, guys. I understand that we like to get into this thing of saying, okay, what happened to the 300 to 400 yards? You're not going to get that with those guys out there. I doubt if Tony Romo can get out there and make it happen with those guys. Tony Romo never played with guys with these obscure talent. He always either had Jason Witten, I meant to say not Jason Garrett, but he did have Jason Garrett. He always had either Terrell Owens. Hey, and you can say this. What's this other guy who wore number 11?
Roy Williams.
Roy Williams. And then he had Dez Bryant. So he always had some type of a receiver.
LaRon Robinson.
LaRon Robinson, yeah, he was the guy that just stepped it up. But I can challenge anybody right now. The wide receivers minus Cole Beasley on his team, if we was to move everything to the 90s, who's beating out Alvin Harper on his team? None of these receivers.
Kevin Williams is beating some players on this team.
So you're not going to get an explosive offensive set from these guys. And trust me, I love them. I love silver and blue, but it is what it is. Shout out to them if we come and meet them again down there at Cowboys Experience. Shout out to them. But the thing is, the truth is the truth. You are undrafted for a reason. And then on top of that, I know somebody going to say, wait a minute, Law. What about this guy, Antonio Brown, that plays for the Steelers? He's a 6th rounder. Why is he doing that? It is what it is, fam.
There are exceptions. It's always
There's always exception to the rule.
Miles Austin was also undrafted. He had a great, at least brief stint.
Who made him better? Who made him better?
Romo. Yeah, absolutely.
If Miles Austin was probably with somewhere else, we probably would never heard of Miles Austin.
We never heard of him.
Yeah,
because he was playing special teams.
America's team.
Yep.
No doubt. So let me ask you guys this: we got away a little bit from the Cooper talk. First, would you be willing to trade for him? Based on everything we just said, yes. But what round pick would you give up for him?
I'm not giving a first. Definitely not giving up no first. I hear Law the 3rd. Maybe I might do a second. I hear leading the league in drops. Maybe I might do a second because his age. I think that's the thing that a second round would be to me, is because he's still young. If he was like 27, 28, then I wouldn't be saying a second rounder. But he's 24.
Right.
Yeah, He's only been in the league 3 years.
Somebody bringing up Stephen Diggs and Stephon Diggs
Stephon Diggs,
Adam Thielen. But this is the thing. Diggs
is a free agent after this year, isn't
he? Yeah, he's a free agent after this
year.
He'll be locked up. But they talking about as far as late round draft picks and stuff like that. But
there are exceptions, yes.
You still have Rudolph. You see, so but go ahead, go ahead.
But when they're talking about those players, but what has Deontay Thompson did anywhere else? He's played for other teams, and he hasn't done anything else. Chicago didn't do anything. Buffalo, he didn't do anything. That's why they cut him. I was
just thinking of only his cup of coffee and other teams.
I'm just saying, he's been cut, so that tells you he hasn't been doing anything. Cole Beasley quit football. You know what I'm saying? Cole Beasley wasn't even with the team. He came back. You know what I mean? Who else was undrafted? Who we say? Cole Beasley,
Alan
Hearns. I mean,
Jarwin.
Blake Jarwin. You know what I'm saying? Like Alan Hearns did get have a good year. but so did Blake Bortles 1 year. So we don't know if it was a flash in the pan, but we do know he was never a number one. We know that for a fact. He was never a number one. He was never going to be a number one. So when he came over to Dallas and they were trying to peg him as a number one, yeah, we was probably having problems right there.
Right. Law, what rounder would you give up for Cooper?
Oh, I'll give up a third and possible try to write up something. And trust me, I love Terrence Williams, but I probably write up something with some conditions of getting Terrence Williams on that particular team so they won't just hit the full blow. Or because you got too many receivers right now. So we have to start shopping these guys and moving these guys around to move that asset into our team. So, yeah, I'll give up a third and possible like a move a pick too. So
I would be willing to go with a second, and James kind of touched on why. He's 24 years old. Yeah, he's had a high drop percentage the last year or so, but Oakland the last couple of years has not been very good. They're a team that runs the ball a lot, which I think explains kind of his trail off as far as productivity in the last year. I mean, yeah, he's a guy who 24 years old, a guy that's a certified 2, potential to be a true 1. He's already a very good route runner as far as the league goes. He's already a very good route runner, which is something that obviously we need. And to have that potential and to be able to acquire him and then lock him down for the future, to me, that's worth a second rounder. Because here's the thing. If you want to get a receiver better than him next year, what are you spending in the draft? You're giving up probably a first rounder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you get him for a 2, if you can get a 2, get him for a 2 now and lock him down with some of that ridiculous cap space you've got moving forward, then you have a guy with very, very little growing pains left other than just kind of integrating into your system. And you get to know that you've got him locked down for the future. So I look at that and I say that's worthwhile because you can draft a guy high in the first round. That doesn't mean he's going to be good. There are misses, whether it's a receiver and all that. You tell people, or I guess people will present it sometimes. We're like, oh, I would never give up this round pick for a guy. Like, you don't know what it's going to be, right? I mean, if it's a first round or second rounder, there are guys that bust at every position every year, regarding whether it's the situation, the team, whatever. Sometimes guys just don't translate well. So for him, for a certified guy that we know translates well, that's a good route runner who's 24 years old, we were willing to move up for a 2 for Earl Thomas until he got hurt. You're telling me if they're willing to go to a 2 for a 30-year-old Earl Thomas, they won't go to a 2 for a certified number 1 receiver when their receiving core is pretty much trash outside of Cole Beasley right now? Dude, I would do it in a heartbeat.
And think about this lineup right here. You move him as the X, and then you slide in my guy Gallup as the as Z or the 2 receiver.
Think of that. Cooper, Gallup, Beasley moving forward. How much better does that look compared to what they have right now? And as for what you were saying, Law, regarding how they create space, so T. Will just got suspended. I think the Cowboys are doing a solid by T. Will. I think they're going to release him, but they're going to let him serve because they have him on IR right now. If now that he's suspended, it's because he's still on a team, even though he's on this IR and not suited up, he can serve these 3 games on our IR. So when he comes off IR, or they can release him, I think, while he's still on IR, it basically is preventing it. Because if they had cut him and then he got suspended, which we've known the suspension was probably coming, then until he signed with a new team, he couldn't serve that suspension. So that would negate teams from wanting to pick him up. I think this was Dallas doing a solid by him because I think they've known really since the first week or 2 of this season that they're done with Terrence Williams. And I think this was them just kind of doing right by him, or what they feel doing right by him, so that he'll serve this suspension, then they'll cut him, and he'll have a complete clean slate to immediately play with the new team. So that's one way you create that spot right there.
What are your thoughts, James?
I mean, I already told him, he's not going to be with the team next year. I mean, he's already on injured reserve. I mean, Terrence Williams is done with Dallas, so I don't really know what's the point. But we'll kind of see with that. But my thing is, we got to get some offense right now. I think Dallas should make the move. Like I said, when you look at those guys that you could be trading for, I just keep on looking at the age. If you were to draft a player, there's guys that come out of college that are 23 years old sometimes, or 24 in their first years. So that's not uncommon. So for you to get a guy who at least has 3 years under his belt, and he, like I said, great route runner, has some explosiveness, a guy that you can maybe you can go to on the third down, can get downfield, that just opens up the offense. Because right now we're doing a disservice, or the Cowboys are doing a disservice to Dak Prescott, because they're asking him to do so much that he's not able probably right now. And then you don't have the receivers to help him, and he's not that Aaron Rodgers type guy. So if he's not that Aaron Rodgers type guy and you don't have the weapons for him, where do you expect us really to do? And where do you expect the team to go?
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of people, James, saying that they would rather have Dez Bryant back versus a Amari Cooper. But you look at this in numbers.
Dez isn't getting any deep on anybody. We know Dez would have this. What Dez would bring. Dez would bring. Okay, you're probably gonna have the respect for Dez Bryant. Maybe you put some over the top, but they weren't doing everything on the top all the time. And he's working out, and I feel that. But I mean, Dez ain't coming back. See, we got to live in reality. You know. A reality could happen. Amari Cooper could happen for us. A Dez Bryant 8. So that's why I don't talk about Dez Bryant no more, because we got to live in a reality now that Dez Bryant ain't coming back.
Yeah. Even and then on top of that, that's what, 6 years apart from those two, right? You still have a lot of room left in Amari Cooper.
Exactly. Dez. Even if you did for some reason bring him back, you're not getting 2014 Dez. You're not getting 2015 Dez. I mean, at least not how he was playing at the very start of the year when he was kind of healthy. I mean, you're not going to get any better of a Dez Bryant. Is he better than what we have right now? Sure.
Yes.
But you don't just plan for the today. You plan for, moving forward, not just the end of this season, but beyond. And the word in the Dez camp is nothing is really changing right now.
But he ain't coming back. You feel me? If he had the opportunity, they let Bryce Butler come back after Bryce Butler said all that craziness, right? And they let Bryce come back, and they already had the opportunity when they've been talking in there, and Jerry's like, it's just right now that's not what we're doing. So if they're saying that right now that's not what they're doing, he ain't coming back. And I'm telling you, Stephen Jones don't want Dez Bryant back. I don't know for sure, but it just seems like Stephen Jones don't want Dez Bryant back. So we should I love Dez, but he ain't coming back. So let's stop talking about him. We need to talk about who is there, or who they can possibly get, who is a reality. It's not a reality of Dez Bryant coming back. It could be more of a reality of Amari Cooper, because you know what? They could pull the trigger, because they could see, guess what? That needs something for us to get over the hump this year.
Yeah, and guys like him don't come available. I mean, it's only because Gruden is such a train wreck in Oakland that they're literally shipping out what talent they have,
he's the whole team because they're locked on like he wants.
Yeah, and they're locked into $100 million of paying this dude, and so his first move ship out Khalil Mack. Can't afford to pay him. Like, okay, you're an idiot. Now ship Amari Cooper and their safety, whose name escapes me. Yeah, and they mentioned that too. It's just like, okay, dude, what are you doing? You're just burning everything to the ground. I guess you assume with your contract you can survive it because they're on the hook for so much for you. But man, I don't know.
Only reason why I'm not going to speak on that, I read and I saw this story before. It's called Philadelphia Eagles. They're doing all these same moves that the Raiders are doing right now. So I'm not even going to make a word. Filthy. There's trading players, picking up players.
You're talking about like when they traded Shady McCoy and all that? That was a different coaching staff.
Yeah.
I don't credit that. That's a different coaching staff.
What are you talking about, Chip Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he burned it down to the ground.
Sean Jackson and all that for what was it? Kiko Alonso, whatever the linebacker is, who's now in Miami.
All them crazy trades.
And then they did something
I was loving when he did that. I mean, I was happier than hell. As a Cowboy fan, I was loving Chip Kelly when he did that, because they used to murder us with that fast-ass offense. I used to hate playing Philly when they had big and they had all them fast dudes, Deshaun Jackson and LaShawn McCoy. I did not want to play them, because they were killing our defense all the time. And if we didn't score, they were killing us. So I was glad he got – thank you, Chip Kelly, for doing that, because you were a dummy for doing what you did, breaking up that team.
Yeah, absolutely. But pivoting slightly here on the coach talk, what do you guys think of the report that Jason Garrett's got another extension coming?
Man, you already know what the hell I think about that trash. You already know what the hell I say about that trash. And if anybody jump in and vouch or whatever.
No.
Y'all can anybody want to defend him, there's a lot of people against him. But listen, I'm telling everybody from day one, only time I've tried. and can't nobody get mad at it. I heard people say, I hope Jason Garrett just wins the Super Bowl. Well, I hope he does too, but you know what? I'm still going to say he ain't good. And I'm going to always say that because he ain't. He's average, and that's just what he is. Yes, people like him. The players like him. They always play hard for him. I don't hate him. I look at him like if I was around, he probably seemed like he is a nice guy. But you know what? Nice guy ain't wearing shit. Excuse me. Am I allowed to say that right now? Yes. Nice guy ain't won shit. It ain't won nothing for us. It's 9 damn years, and you ain't won shit, bruh. And I don't want to hear the crap. You better go into Washington, and you better beat their ass because I don't want to hear it no more. There better not be no extension in the damn works. For what? What's the extension for? What have you done? I don't want to hear no more of this 12-4, 13-3 crap.
Coach of the
trash.
year. Coach
of the year trash. Because, let me tell you something. I'm gonna be real. Because even when I had the argument, when we were winning those games, everybody, I didn't even want to say, we got Jason Garrett's coach of the year. I didn't even brag on that. I bragged on our players. I never, ever mentioned Jason Garrett. I brag on our players. When we went in 12-4, 13-3, it was Roma I was bragging on. Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott. Was never Jason Garrett saying, oh, you see what Jason Garrett, our coach, did? Man, wherever you in your damn life, we ain't ever in your damn life. And if you ever said that to yourself, you see what the hell Jason Garrett just did? Our coach is sweet. Have you ever said that to your damn self?
Yeah, no.
No, you haven't.
I get it. This is why
that's like throwing gas on a fire, boy.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that trash, man. You better just win. I ain't drinking the Kool-Aid. I made a video. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. Okay. Yes, we beat Jacksonville. Everybody clap their hands. We beat Jacksonville 40-9. They ain't good. Okay. So they lost 3 of the last 4. So we're clapping our hands. We beat Jacksonville. No, clap your hands when we go into Washington and beat them. Then we clap our hands. And if we don't do that, I'm not listening to none of that bullshit.
Put the clapping emojis in the chat box, guys. This is the thing.
They're here in mine, yeah.
In closing, though, we got to get this thing rolling around.
That way intentionally
you swing the pendulum. But this is that's good stuff. That's good stuff. In closing, I want to know, James, since you're feeling the way you're feeling, what's that score prediction going to be?
I'll tell you what it better be.
Tell them what it better be.
Win. I'm gonna tell you what it better be. It better be a win. I mean, I don't know. I'm be honest with you. It's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I don't know what team is gonna show the hell up, dog. Let's keep it all the way real. I don't know what team is gonna show the hell up. Please let the team that showed up against Jacksonville, because let me tell you something. It don't mean nothing in diddly poo if Dallas scored 40 points and they go into damn Washington and score 10 or 13. Then what are we going to be saying again? So all I'm going to say is I'm praying and hoping for 24-17. It better be 24-17. Us winning like in the fourth quarter. I'm hoping that, but I don't know what our team is going to do because it's so damn Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know anymore, and it pisses me off because I should feel like our team go in there and kick Washington's ass because they lost to the damn Colts. They ain't that good, and I ain't hyping them. So you better go in there and beat them. You better do it.
There you go, guys. 24 to what? 24 what?
24-17. You better know. I'm gonna give them 20. No, I'm gonna say 24-20 because I feel like Washington's gonna play good because it's in Washington. It's gonna come down to that fourth quarter. But I'm telling you what, you receivers, I wish y'all were listening to me right now because guess what? I'm gonna yell at Jason Garrett, and you're a dummy sometimes, but the players play. So you better get out there and you better get some separation. You better help your quarterback out. Don't be dropping balls, and Leo Collins, don't be holding. Stop getting holding penalties. Don't know holding penalties when we get a 20-yard gain and it's in Washington and comes back on a penalty. Mind discipline, players. Guess what? Because I'm going to yell at you because if Jordan Lewis said, I'm going to start coming to your jobs and yelling at y'all. Well, come to my job and yelling because if I wasn't performing, you got every right to yell at me, and I'm yelling at y'all if y'all ain't performing.
Fatality.
Right.
Yes, indeed. My boy dropping flames over there, man.
Yeah.
Hey, DDP, man, what you got for the score prediction, man? What you got on your mind, your mental?
Yeah, I got a similar score to James. I got 23-17 Dallas. Here's the thing. The offense held a players-only meeting, it looks like today, offense-only, rather. Hold a meeting to address their road woes. Specifically, they've been talking all week about their communication, getting on the same page. Because there are things where you might look at it, Cole Beasley Cole Beasley is a little bit of a different case, but like Allen Hurns, for example, he has yet to get any chemistry with Dak. Yeah, he's got a touchdown catch in Houston, but he's not had no chemistry with Dak. And this last game against his former team, he looked worse than ever. I mean, he was targeted like 6 times and never looked like he came close to actually making a reception off of that. So the way I view that is what he sees on the edge versus what Dak sees. They might see the same thing, but analyze it differently. So to them, they're like, oh, yeah, it's simple, easy. But it's like you don't know what you don't know. So until you build that rapport, which this is in part them not playing in preseason, hurts them and hurts that development. But if they're addressing all week, we're going to talk on communication, make sure that we get on the same page. Not everything might fix this week, but you're 0-3 on the road. After this week, you're halfway through your road schedule. You've got to turn it around now. And this is a game, division rival or not, that you can turn it around. So you can get a win here. And if you go into the bye week 4-3, you're feeling a little bit better about it because, hey, we're leading the division. Hey, we're 3rd or 4th, whatever, in the NFC seeding as a whole. Everything feels different. If you lose this week, then you're going into the bye week like, oh, we gotta come out and we gotta beat. Who do they got on Monday Night Football? Tennessee. Now, granted, Tennessee is not a good team. They should be able to win that too. But here's the chance: you can string a couple wins together between beating Jacksonville, Washington, and then Tennessee. If you can do that, you string 3 wins together. Hey, very different complexion. But if you lose this week, then you're like, oh, okay, Tennessee shouldn't be that hard of a game, but that's just to claw back to 500. And JJT, John Jacques Taylor of ESPN radio this morning had a great point on that. He's basically saying, like, it's a roller coaster season. At some point, you just want to get off the roller coaster. You want to get over the hump and be done with it. You don't want to keep getting to the top, dropping back, getting to the top, dropping back. Like, it's a drain when you do that. So if they can string together a couple wins here in the middle of the season where things are a little bit of a lull, and granted, we didn't think at the time Jacksonville was going to be a lull, but if you can do it a little bit right now, changes the whole complexion and momentum of the season. So that's what I think. They got to do something. They got to build momentum now because they got a hard-ass part of their schedule coming up.
Don't worry, the path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil man. But blessed is he that is in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly thy brother's keeper and founder of lost souls. That's Ezekiel Elliott. He's right now in 2nd place in rushing, right? They got this other guy who showed his you-know-what off. I think Ezekiel Elliott is a passionate guy. He's a guy that he's saying to himself, I'm determined to be the number 1 running back in the NFL, and I don't like to be in 2nd place. I'm finna come back for that throne. And we already know that Ezekiel Elliott is the pace and is the core and is everything for this offense. And I think Ezekiel Elliott, this score prediction that I got down on wax right now, 28-13. Cowboys Nation all day, even twice on Sunday. Let's rock and roll. Big Game James, tell them where they can find you at, fam.
You can always check us out, Silver and Blue Nation, every Sunday. Make sure you check us out this Sunday. We're going to have Mr. Brandon Tucker on there. He's the gentleman that's been training. Hard to say that, but he just posted a little video where he was doing some hand movements, and David Irvin did that first move and got off air. So it was really exciting to see. So we'll have him on the show. Check us out every Sunday. Don't know the timing yet, but get out there on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Make sure you just subscribe to us, Patreon, all that good stuff. Big Game James. You can check me out on Facebook. We just having a good time. You know how we do, Law. We just having a good time talking Cowboys football. Don't get on my page acting crazy because I did already have to ban somebody talking all crazy and dumb. I had to ban them. I mean, you know what? I just want to say what calm down about out here. This ain't that serious, y'all. We just all having fun. You know what I'm saying? We all just having a good time talking Cowboys football. Some of these weirdos out here be taking this stuff way too deep. Y'all need to calm down over there. Y'all need to get some enjoy yourselves, man. It ain't that serious, bro.
Yes, indeed. Listen, enjoy yourself. That's good stuff,
man.
Have
fun. We're all having fun.
Follow. Hit that share button. Subscribe to the channel too.
Yeah. And all day.
Join that podcast. DDP, tell them what it's about, man. Tell them what it's about.
Man, you can check out Dallas Prospect on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you're looking Twitter, it's at Dallas Prospect. Anywhere else, it's the Dallas Prospect. Of course, check out the website, theDallasProspect.com, if you want to see my Cowboys articles or my Mavericks articles for those regard.
And they're fire.
Luca!
Fire. A boy can write.
Thank you. You can find that on DallasSportsFanatic.com. That's where they go first. Sometimes from there, they go to Bleacher Report, and that's, as James said, fire. Other times, they'll not other times. They'll always cross-post to theDallasProspect.com a day later. But my first cut of Mavs or Cowboys articles always goes to Dallas Sports Fanatic. So check that out. Share that. Give that a like, share, all that. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Other than that, it's all the same channels as before. You got Patreon if you really want to support what we're building. And we're going to try and do more Mavs, Cowboys content. And somehow, some way, I'm going to find a way to get back going some pop culture content as well on here, some film analysis and reviews and things of that nature as well, where I can sprinkle them in. Of course, that never deviates from my normal release of Mavs and Cowboys content, so don't worry about that if you're a Mavs or Cowboys fan. But yeah, working pretty much nonstop, pretty much never sleeping to get the best content I can provide you guys. So any support is appreciated, as always.
Yes, indeed, guys. Go follow DDP, The Dallas Prospect. Every legend was once a prospect, guys. Hit that link that's in the description box to the www.Cowboys Experience, where you can see and have a good time with NFL players to play for the Cowboys, etc. And guys, I do have a podcast that's LAW Nation. Follow that podcast, and let's get this thing going one way or another. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. I'm out. Or we out. Peace.
Rio.
We're going to roll on out of this thing. Peace, man. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
Salute.
Salutes.